Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a seriously game-changing framework from Justin Results French's daily sales and marketing mastery session. We're going to unpack his exact strategy on how to win deals, and this is all backed by his 25-plus years of in-the-trenches revenue generation experience. The core concept we're looking at today is all about becoming what he calls the undeniable choice. So let's just cut right to the chase and challenge the absolute biggest myth in your business right now. It's this persistent idea that you're losing deals because your pitch is weak, maybe your offer is just slightly off, or your price is too high. Most sales conversations are entirely built around this idea of persuasion. But what if that is literally the wrong fight to be having? Here's Justin's central thesis, and it's a huge paradigm shift. You absolutely do not win business by outpitching your competition. You win by outproving them. Think about it. When you rely solely on pitching, you're relying on selling and persuasion, which is exhausting. But when you switch your mindset to proving, you're stacking undeniable, verifiable evidence. We're talking testimonials and visible track records right in front of the prospect until choosing you becomes the only rational option available to them. It's a total no-brainer. To really wrap our heads around this, let's look at a crazy real-world case study. Justin actually discovered a dormant meetup group out in San Diego. The original organizers were long gone, the group was completely inactive, dead in the water. So what did he do? He reached out and spent just $20 to acquire this group, instead of agonizing over building a brand new community from absolute zero. I mean, talk about a wild return on investment. For that tiny $20 spend, he instantly gained access to an existing, warm audience of 3,500 members. And by simply tapping into that established group, he successfully booked a paying attendee for a July 2nd relaunch event within a single 24-hour period. That is the power of leverage. This right here perfectly highlights two completely different approaches to growth. Building an audience from absolute zero is, without a doubt, the hardest, most exhausting path you can take in business. Honestly, it's a grind. But acquiring existing assets, whether that's a $20 dormant community, a book of clients, or cash-flowing assets, is the absolute highest leverage path. I mean, why build the house yourself when you can just acquire one that's already built? Now, if you're sitting there thinking, well, okay, that's cool for a $20 meetup, but does it scale? Oh, it scales massively. Justin cites a past 18-city, 2-year sponsorship campaign for a former client. By sponsoring existing Eventbrite and meetup groups, rather than painstakingly building audiences city by city, they generated up to $200,000 in a single weekend. The rooms were literally already warm before the very first dollar was even spent. All right, let's move right along to part 1, the proof stacking system. So how do we actually pull this off day to day? First things first, you've got to drip proof everywhere. Most businesses make the massive mistake of taking their best testimonials, burying them on a single webpage, and thinking, yep, job done. No way. Justin teaches that proof is a distribution system, not a static asset. You have to actively distribute well-timed proof across all your channels, your newsletters, your social posts, right in your DMs. He even talks about closing deals by sending one single perfectly timed testimonial video during a live sales call, exactly when the prospect needs to see evidence of that transformation. It's brilliant. Second step, you literally have to change the box your prospects put you in. You need to explicitly reframe your language away from being a disposable vendor, someone who is just ruthlessly compared on price and scope. Instead, you have to position yourself as an indispensable growth partner. You want to be someone a client invests in for an actual transformation. Just a simple shift in how you talk about yourself in that very first conversation completely changes the tone of the entire engagement, long before pricing is ever even brought up. Third up is something Justin calls the 0 to 10 feedback loop. This is a super clever 2-step technique he borrowed from one of his early mentors. At the end of every single engagement, step 1 is straightforward. You ask the client to rate their experience from 0 to 10. Easy enough, right? But step 2 is the crucial part that honestly most people totally skip, out of fear. You use it to find the massive gap between a client who is just satisfied and a raving client who actually refers you to others. And here's the kicker. If they reply with an 8 or a 9, basically anything less than a perfect 10, you must ask this exact, completely unfiltered question. What would have made this a 10? That's it. The answer to this brave follow-up question gives you the precise, unvarnished feedback you need to figure out exactly how to improve your specific service. It is gold. Fourth, and this is absolutely crucial to protect your sanity and your wallet, you need to apply the 90-day rule. Whether you're acquiring a $20 meetup group or dropping cash on a massive new marketing channel, you've got to have the discipline to protect yourself from reckless investments. You give every new initiative a fixed 90-day window to prove its return. Once that window slams shut, you look at the cold, hard data and make a tough decision. Do you scale it up or do you kill it completely? No emotions, just data.
Which brings us nicely to part 2, the execution engine, wizard and warrior.
Once you've got your strategy locked in, Justin teaches that you really need to operate in 2 very distinct modes, wizard and warrior. You've got to know when to be in wizard mode. That means being fluid, staying open to pivots, and creatively adapting to ambiguous situations that are still kind of taking shape. But the moment the path becomes clear, you've got to flip the switch straight into warrior mode. We're talking ruthless execution with 0 excuses. As Justin bluntly puts it, you either have reasons or you have results, and you simply cannot have both. So how do you know which hat to wear and when? That is exactly where the AAA filter comes in, accurate aligned actions. This is a simple daily check-in to constantly ask yourself, am I accurately aligned on the right action right now, or am I just aimlessly drifting? Mastering this adaptability is exactly what keeps you relevant and dangerous in literally any market. Let's pivot to part 3, real-world community proof. Because, hey, we can't talk about outproving the competition without actually showing some proof ourselves, right? Inside the Revenue Ronin community, Christelle used these exact strategies to pull in 120 YouTube subscribers in a single week, and 78% of her audience discovery came rapidly through shorts. On top of that, she leveraged AI tools effectively enough to completely replace her design virtual assistant for her newsletter graphics. Talk about radically streamlining your operations. Then we've got VR. This guy is just rapidly securing business left and right, landing his 3rd AI-related client in a matter of weeks. He's also out there open sourcing massive tools for the community, including an agent passport for login credentials and, get this, a local-first AI bookkeeping ledger that actually reconciles an entire year of books in just 30 minutes. I mean, 30 minutes. That is unbelievable leverage. Meanwhile, Nino was taking massive action to expand his wellness practice on a quarterly rotation across Texas, New Jersey, and Florida. He is literally everywhere. And Danielle? She's out there booking full-day C-suite workshops for huge commercial real estate firms. But what's even cooler is she's deliberately turning down other work to fiercely protect her time so she can write her book and build her legacy. And finally, we arrive at part 4, sanity versus vanity. Before we wrap this explainer up, Justin drops a massive reality check on us about the absolute danger of losing focus. He shares a highly vulnerable story from a previous company he ran about 5 years ago. He reveals that while they generated roughly $1 million in top-line revenue, which sounds amazing, right? They ultimately netted a tiny $50,000 in actual profit. The point here isn't to judge the specific number. It's to listen to the stark warning behind it. The takeaway here is incredibly sobering. Revenue is vanity, but profit? Profit is sanity. Closing deals and generating massive top-line numbers without strict, rigid margin discipline is honestly nothing more than an expensive hobby. Proof is what closes deals, for sure. But becoming the undeniable choice in a market only matters if the deals you are winning are actually deals worth keeping at the end of the day. So we're going to leave you with Justin's final profound questions to really chew on. He says, at the end of our lives, we will ask ourselves 4 simple questions. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? Did I make a difference? He constantly urges his community to go out there and build that business, build that bank account, absolutely. But most importantly, build that legacy. Because becoming the undeniable choice only matters if you are building a life worth remembering. So looking at your own daily actions through that AAA filter, are you currently just building a business or are you actually building a legacy? Something to think about.